presenting the entire Merchant of Venice only for grade 10 ICSE. So please don't get confused because I have used this word entire. Grade 10 ICSE only has 3, Act 4 and Act 5. So this is a challenge. In next 15 minutes, I'll just complete the entire explanation of these 3 acts. Act 3 begins with scene 1, where Salanio and Salarino were discussing about Antonio's financial condition. They have come across Antonio's shipwreck, and now they are praying to God that in case if it is Antonio's only one of the ships, let it be one. Shylock enters the scene where Salanio and Salarino, they make fun of him by saying that we even know who stitched the wedding dress of your daughter. This is ironical. The reason why? Because there is a vast difference between Shylock and Jessica's flesh. They questioned Shylock about the news at Rialto. I hope everyone is aware of Rialto. It's a stock exchange, Venetian stock exchange. So Shylock, now he very well knows this, that Antonio won't be able to pay his amount, therefore calls him as a bankrupt and Bassanio as a spendthrift. He wants his penalty, and the penalty everyone knows, 1 pound of flesh. Everyone means grade 10 ICSE students. So please, this is not for class, because class 9 students will have to study Julius Caesar. Shylock's speech is really awesome. Salarino questions him that Shylock, how will you get benefited while extracting or after extracting a pound of flesh, and that to human flesh? Now look at this, everyone. Shylock says that, yes, it will not feed me. I will bait it to fish. Awesome lines. And why am I supporting Shylock today? Reason why? Because till date, no one, even no teacher, can specify this, that why did Antonio behave so weirdly with Shylock. Everyone knows only one reason, that Shylock used to lend money at a high rate of interest. Shylock in his speech in Act 3 scene 1 straight away says that, are Jews not human beings? If you prick us with a pin, won't we bleed? If you tickle us, won't we laugh? You people eat food, we people eat food. You stands for Christians. Reason why? Because Antonio used to discriminate a lot, mock at his nation, spat on his beard, made fun of him, insulted him at Rialto, increased the number of enemies, turned the number of enemies against him by charging no interest, lending money at 0 rate of interest, specifically to those who used to default in paying to Shylock. Shylock is angry. He says, even Christians, they shiver during winters. Even Christians, they sweat during summers. And the same applies to Jews. You eat medicines, we would be eating medicines. What if a Christian is offended? Why so much of discrimination against the Jews? I have learned the language of revenge from the Christians. I will definitely take my pound of flesh. I will definitely take my revenge from Antonio. A man from Antonio, he enters the scene, a servant. He calls for Salanio and Salarino. They all exit the scene. Tubal enters the scene, and now Shylock and Tubal are in the conversation. Tubal has come up with the information regarding Jessica, his daughter. Jessica has spent 1 night in Genova and spent 80 ducats. She has also eloped with the turquoise ring that was gifted by Leah to Shylock. It is a greenish blue precious stone. Apart from this, Shylock also gives more information that Tubal, she has also eloped with the diamond that costed me 2,000 ducats in Frankfurt. What are you doing? I'm spending so much of money and you have only come up with information. Tubal gives a good news that Antonio will not be able to pay the amount of 3,000 ducats. Reason why? Because the creditors have turned their back against Antonio. Antonio is going to default. He will definitely prove as insolvent. Shylock is happy. He wants to hire an officer fortnight before and asks Tubal to meet at the synagogue. Act 3 scene 2 very lengthy. Bassanio enters into the picture. Portia asks him to pause for a day or two so that she can teach him the game of caskets. And then she realizes that, oh my God, I am restricted by my father's will. Bassanio is looking a little bit nervous, as if he is being tortured. Reason why? Salute to Bassanio. Salute to such a friend, Bassanio, who is thinking about Antonio now. Antonio is his top priority. He wants that amount, wants to rush back to Venice and save the life of his dearest friend Antonio. Portia sees that there is some doubt mixed in his feelings. She asks him to head towards the caskets. She makes an allusion, compares him to Hercules who saved Princess Hesione from the sea monster. So Bassanio is now in front of gold, silver and lead. For golden casket, Bassanio says that it is all about decoration. Beauty is all about decoration. Appearances are deceptive. Apart from this, godmen. Godmen means the people who behave like saints and all, who act like saints and all. They can also fool us with fake scriptures. Anyone can trick us in the court. Anyone can trick the court by presenting fake evidences. King Midas couldn't eat gold. How many of the ladies have golden natural hair like Portia? They might be wearing wigs in order to just look beautiful. How many men really have the courageous heart of Hercules? By only having beard, that doesn't mean that one would be having the courageous heart of Hercules. So these are all points quoted by Bassanio. He also talks about Asian beauty, that is actually dark-skinned beauty. And dark-skinned beauty, what are you looking at me like this? Obviously, you can take my example also. We all are Asians. So he makes fun of this beauty by saying that they hide it with the help of a scarf. This is golden casket. For silver casket, he says only precious coins are made out of silver. Lead casket, when he had nothing to lose, one who chooseth me must give and hazard all he hath. So he knew this very well, that he has nothing to lose. So let's select the lead casket, and lead seemed to be a noble one. Like Portia has magnificent virtues. He finds Portia's image. Portia, she parts her ring to Bassanio and says that do not part this ring. Lorenzo, Jessica and Celerio enter into the scene. They come up with very bad information about Antonio, that none of his ships have actually reached to Rialto. His condition is pathetic. Bassanio's color, they fade away. Colors fade away from his face. Portia notices this. Bassanio reveals the entire truth, that he acted as a braggart in the beginning. He has no money. He only has noble blood flowing in his veins. Portia did not utter a single word. Rather, she was ready to help Bassanio with enough ducats. She asks Bassanio to rush, go rescue his friend, but before this, get married in the church. They do not get married. Please read Merchant of Venice, Act 3, Scene 2 carefully. They do not get married. Reason why? Because after reading Antonio's letter, Portia was shocked. She asked Bassanio and Graciano to go at a convenient speed. Act 3, Scene 3, very strange. Antonio is behind the bars. He is in the prison. He keeps on asking for mercy from Shylock. Shylock denies. And Antonio knows this very well, that as per the Venetian law for foreign merchants, even the Duke cannot deny the law. Act 3, Scene 4, Portia asks Lorenzo to take care of her mansion, and even Jessica, obviously, as she would be going in a nearby monastery that is 2 miles away, and she would be living life like virgins and widows. She has a great plan to defend Antonio in the court of Venice. They would be now turning into men. Turning into men, don't get confused. Turning into men doesn't mean changing gender, only changing the appearance. Act 3, Scene 5, Lorenzo and Jessica. They both are into the scene. Lancelot, he criticizes Jessica. He makes fun of her. Why? Because he calls her the daughter of a devil. Lorenzo and Lancelot, they both enter into an argument where he asks Lancelot to go and get the dinner ready. And then Jessica praises Portia by saying that Bassanio will have to live life like a prayer, because Portia is heavens. Bassanio will have to enjoy heavens on earth. Coming to Act 4 is known as the trial scene. Act 4, where Shylock disagrees to show any kind of mercy. Portia is disguised as Balthazar and Nerissa is disguised as the judge's clerk. Dr. Bellario is no more into the picture. Portia would be taking care of it. She also presents the mercy speech, very important. Shylock does not show any mercy. Even the Duke tries to convince Shylock. Shylock is not convinced because he has sworn on the Holy Sabbath. Now, Portia traps Shylock that, come on, go and take a pound of flesh. Do not shed a single drop of blood. In case after extraction, after extracting a pound of flesh, if the pound of flesh in measurement sums to be more than the weight or less than the weight of a hair, your entire property will be confiscated to the state of Venice. And this happens. Shylock is now going to be insolvent. Shylock will lose everything because he has threatened Antonio's life to death. This is as per Venetian law. The Duke does not give him death penalty. Antonio only asks him to accept Christianity. He will have to accept Christianity, and half of the property will go to the state. Half of the property will be transferred to Lorenzo and Jessica after Shylock's death. Bassanio parts his ring to Portia. Gratiano parts his ring to Nerissa. In Act 5, in the final act, you will see that Lorenzo and Jessica, they are discussing about various lovers. Pyramus and Thisbe, Dido, Aeneas, and Troilus. So you will find various references of lovers. Jessica is not happy with Lorenzo because Lorenzo has misbehaved earlier. Bassanio and Gratiano, they are also about to enter Act 5, in Act 5, and Portia and Nerissa, they enter before the masters. The master Bassanio and Gratiano. They enter into an argument where Nerissa finds the ring missing from Gratiano's finger. Now even Portia has this chance to take and teach a lesson to Bassanio. After this, Portia reveals that she was only defending the case in the court of Venice. They are shocked. More revelation. Lorenzo will be presented with the good news that the half of the property will belong to Lorenzo after Shylock's death. And second, good news for Antonio that his 3 ships have returned safely to the harbor. So this is presented by Portia. Portia says, I was disguised as a judge. Nerissa was disguised as the judge's clerk. And they presented the case. Bassanio and Gratiano cannot believe this. My God, they apologize. Bassanio again. Bassanio, what he does is that Antonio is into the picture. Antonio asks Portia to give the ring again. I will take the guarantee now. So this is how Act 3, Act 4, Act 5 comes to an end. Thank you so much, students. I am Tarun sir, and I take care of English literature, English language and grammar, and please take this into consideration. It's almost 15 minutes. This is what I promised and challenged, that in 15 minutes I would be taking care of the explanation part. Yes, I haven't gone into the depth. And in case if I would have gone into the depth, I would have never taken 15 minutes. It takes near about 6 to 7 months to complete these acts and scenes, my dear, line wise paraphrase explanation. So you can join my classes offline or online. You can contact me at 9839305466. No time to waste, please. Reason why? Because you can get any question from any scene in the form of MCQ or extract based question. So in the last minute, I would like to disclose something about the question paper. There would be 5 questions. The first question would comprise of 16 MCQs, compulsory questions, no choice. And then you get 6 questions, out of which you'll have to do 4 into 16. So that is 64 plus 16, 80 marks. Thank you so much. God bless you all. Bye-bye. Take care.